would have been 110. And then halfway through the day, you go outside and you're like, oh yeah, it's 110. Let's go back inside. Yeah, and then July 4th. Yeah, I'm ready.
This is a very rare thing. I'm going to be here for the show, and we are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How awesome.
So
I can touch him. He's
here,
for real.
let's touch Nacho.
Oh, let's touch him.
Ah, my eyeball, no!
Yes.
I'm trying to
Not my eyeball! Oh, yeah, my nose.
You have another one. You're just fine.
Yeah, true. I'll just put a patch on.
Ooh, yeah. And then say, arr. Can you
Arr,
say arr
Marty.
with an Australian accent? I was just asking. Yes, you confirmed. You definitely can say arr. With it.
I don't know if it's a very Australian accent, because just naturally, when you do that, it's its own sort of piratey accent.
It does. Arr, arr. I don't know. He makes it. I'm not sexy.
No, you can't really do a good Australian.
I was just about to say everything you say is sexy until whatever that was.
Yeah, I was trying to do a real bogany, pirate, but they don't mix well.
No, don't do it again. You're lucky you already have a girlfriend.
Hey, just so everyone knows, this special event tonight is brought to you by
Jammy Girl.
our honeymoon.
Our honeymoon.
We all got married. Where's Stacy?
They got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's Stacy?
Hello.
So meet the wifey. This is Rachel.
Yeah, we're gonna let him keep her. I've decided. Let's see, Stacy. Come in here. I'll just put come now.
Come now.
She'll be like, oh my god, what's up?
Come.
Nothing.
Come right now.
So everyone, happy Friday. The League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism. That's right.
Yes. And we have Nacha and House.
That's right.
I mean, like more than usual.
Our very
Yeah, I figured I'd be here for this one. Why not?
I love it. Is this the first time that you've done this? Or did you help?
And the time we were together, that first time, he talked quite a bit, especially towards the end.
I've done a few talking bits, but not frequently, that's for sure.
I like your talking bits.
They're better than our talking bits.
Yeah, my talking bits are nothing to write home about.
Oh, no, I seem to enjoy them. I listen to them every other week.
Definitely love your talking bits, and your talking bits, and her honeymoon bits. Oh, I made,
I don't know if
makeup.
that was meant to sound the way it sounded, but okay.
Yeah.
Her honeymoon bits, eh?
It's like the eye of the beholder. However you took it is how I meant for it to be said. This is Belvedere, pineapple juice, and at the bottom here, see all that fruit floating? That is mangoes grown by Stacy's uncle in Miami. He drove them here. And they're like candy. They're the best mangoes. I've ever had their. Mwah.
Okay,
Mango's
so
pretty good.
Yes.
Before I forget to ask this question, this is super important. Nacha, did you hide yourself again?
Yeah.
Because I found you.
Oh no.
No, well, I haven't moved myself for a while. I've been there for a fair while.
Do you need help?
Do I need? Yeah. I'm a window licker. I definitely need help.
Higher.
Ah! So cute. He's peeping. I'm peeping at you.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know this, Nacha used to, and from time to time, hides his avatar on our background.
Yeah, that, like
you
the
guys should be
thumbnail.
looking for it.
Like a Where's Waldo, but with a mullet, so it's better.
Well, see, but I'm Australian, and so it'd actually be a Where's Wally for me, because that's what we don't have Waldo here.
Yeah, Waldo's
Really?
pretty silly anyway.
What's the difference between Waldo and Waldo?
It's legitimately just a different name. I don't know why, if it's like a licensing thing or what.
But it's the same like colors?
Yeah.
Is it like
Yeah,
red
yeah.
and white? Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, I don't know how everything works down there.
It's basically all the same, it's just upside down.
Right. And in the future. It's exactly the same, but different.
Same diff.
It's exactly the same, but different.
I know,
Okay?
baby.
Okay, see, just doing that, So hot. It's so hot. I'm not Beyonce, or obviously, but I have a fan blowing on me. If you're wondering, it's not because I'm, it's because I'm hot.
Got fans.
Yeah, I have fans
Got fans.
worldwide.
Number one fan?
This is my number one fan right here. Mr. Bean, LoJack, Santiago. Oh, yeah, we got lots of good stuff.
Smitty said, love your hair waves, Christy.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
We didn't say anything about my hair waves.
Yeah. They're lame tonight.
I guess so.
Yeah. No, your hair actually looks good right now.
Thanks.
Yeah. They've been all over Tampa, the greater Tampa Bay area today.
Yeah, we have.
All over. How do you like Newport Richie?
It was nice. We wish we could have gotten like some beach pictures, but the park's closed by the time we got there.
Lame.
They closed before sunset? Like when you wanna be
Yeah,
there?
they probably don't even sell liquor on Sundays out there. Like, I'm surprised you didn't go, oh my gosh, I just saw a rebel flag. No, seriously. Yeah. Not all of Newport Richie. It actually, I remember when they first got their first Walmart. Yeah. Like it was a big to-do. But now they have, they have everything. They're doing really well. My mom, you'll have to look at the map, lives in the Spring Hill area, which is north, over an hour north of here. And it's real close to the water as well. But it's the Gulf water, it's not the real water. I mean, it's real. It's
Right.
technically water, but it's not blue from the sky. It's green from the sky.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Makes it less pretty.
Less pretty. Hey, green's pretty.
It is. I mean, but like blue water's prettier than green water.
Bigot.
It's called a
I like a real
preference.
ocean, not a
Preference.
You're not a real ocean.
I just like colors more than other. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
I was trying.
You're gonna sound like Tuberville. Everybody knows about what happened to Tuberville this week, right?
Nope.
On the House floor, he was talking about his constituents.
Yeah.
And people in his state, and he mentioned the colored people as well.
Ooh.
And realized, like, immediately that he wasn't hanging out with his friends. And was like, and the Hispanics and I make mistakes, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But he was so comfortable the way he said it, and you just know by his policies, by his history vote, his votes in the past, that it just fits. Sometimes puzzles just fit. Like Mag and I, my brother from another mother, Smitty. Yeah, we have to give Smitty the props on that one. I read it to everyone, and Stacy, it's funny. You're a dork, and that's why I love it. Let's see. Okay, so Brant, love it. Gup, I love when you come by. Hi, Sergio. Hi. Message me. Tell me how you're loving it. I miss you. He left Florida. He left me.
No.
Yeah, he left.
He's not supposed to do that.
Well, he fell in love.
Did he ask first?
And love had good dick. What are you supposed to do? You
I
gotta go. You gotta pack up and leave. He did the lesbian thing, Yeah. We dated and we moved in with each other.
Yeah.
He's a lesbian.
We kind of did that too.
Yeah.
Except we moved in together and then we dated.
Because COVID.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah.
No, we didn't really get to go on.
Yeah, our first date was like
6 months.
So like a staycation.
Yeah, it
You-
was
Yeah.
4 or 5 months in. We got our first like official date.
Oh man, you didn't wait till your first date, did you?
No. No?
That was
I don't
rhetorical.
understand that, right?
For her
Yeah,
sake,
for her
you should
sake.
be like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. For his sake. He's just a sweet little innocent child. This one right here.
That's right.
Sweet little innocent child.
Yeah.
I think,
So-
and my dad is going to stop by, and Leslie Spock. Hello. I do have to send this to one person who isn't on any of the socials, or the regular ones. So I have to personally send that to them.
Okay.
Makes them think. Let's see. Ta-da! Mr. Dragon. Mr. Dragon Daddy. Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions for us, including Nacha? Don't forget Nacha's speaking tonight from afar and under. Does Nacho have any questions for us? Do we have any questions for Nacho? We don't get to ask Nacho a lot of questions.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think I have questions. We don't really get a lot of chances to discuss things. It's normally always a couple minutes before and a couple minutes after the show, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know. But if anyone does have questions, make sure to tag me at Leah Podcast in the chat, and I will I'll try and compile them all in case we all get distracted and miss any. I'll have them listed.
Retro,
Smitty.
of course. My
Uh,
mouth is gonna be full. I can't answer.
hold on. I'll let Nacho do his thing. He is Leah Podcast, so I'll let him read the questions and answer first. Go ahead.
Damn it, you were too fast.
Me?
I was trying.
Are you gonna make me answer a question about RFK Jr.? I don't even know.
No,
I
you
think
have
you may.
You have
yeah.
present it.
Yeah,
and,
you have first dibs on answering the question.
And you can just present it.
Or you can throw it at either one of us you want. It's like, Mac, you first.
Yeah, you can read the photo.
Right.
Read a 1978
I'm gonna throw it to you guys because I wouldn't have a goddamn clue what's up with RFK Jr.
Woo, buddy.
What's up with that?
So
this is what I come to you guys for. So I learn from you guys when I'm producing the show.
All right. Okay, can I start with RFK Jr.?
Yeah.
Because I think you're gonna
especially if you're gonna take it to Africa and all the kids that died.
Oh, so I was not. So I'm gonna let you carry the whole afterwards. So RFK Jr. I will start sweetly with him. I liked what he's on it. So I really appreciate Crystal Ball's interview with RFK Jr. Because I think she asked some really good and fair questions. And it gave me a chance because I really didn't know anything about him first. Very little. One of my favorite things about anyone in the political or informational realm is when
media.
they are genuine. And I think he is genuine. So I need to give him props right off the bat. No matter what he says, how much I disagree with it.
I've met a couple flat earthers like that too.
Yeah.
And Dunning-Kruger is real.
Very real. So yeah, first off, I do want to say I think he's genuine. I was just having a conversation with Stacy in here just a little bit ago, and right now we're kind of having issues like this podcast and Kim Iverson because we've had her on, and it was a great show. It was really awesome and whatnot. And I really followed her for a really long time, but looking at some of the new stuff, she is going off the deep end. And she's not a great source to go to say the least. But unlike Jimmy Dore right now, if you guys don't know where my head's at, I think Kim Iverson, or I'm not convinced that Kim Iverson is not still genuine in what she's selling. I think she still actually believes what she's in what she's doing. Jimmy Dore, on the other hand, I think is just a complete what's that word? Sellout. It's just a complete sellout, and it's super sad. And I would like to
rage makes money.
Rage makes money, and he's got the rage. I mean, if he comes back out here in a few years and is just like, look, I did what I did because I needed the money because I have a lot of health issues. I understand it. It's still shitty, right? But I just don't think he's genuine anymore, and that super sucks because he was right on a lot of things. He was passionate about a lot of the really good things. But man, I hate drama, and I hate when people are fake. And he seems like a grifter now, and that sucks. Grifter is the word. Thank you, Steve. And optimal delusion. Thank you. But yeah. That super sucks. Again, Kim Iverson, I think she's still genuine. I wouldn't say she's a great source for anything, but if you want genuine sources, I'd still keep her in your subscribe list. Check her out every now and then, as I do. And that brings me back to RFK Jr. I think he's genuine. I think he's misled. especially when it comes to a lot of his anti-vax
Yeah.
rhetoric. And I think, again, I think it comes from a good place. And I'm the great skeptic, so I feel like that's where I have to come from this. But very wrong, because he really doesn't understand the science.
Oh, look, the other one of our wives.
Hello.
Stay low. No, you didn't make the other one. Yeah, he's gonna make her get up.
Yeah.
You can now. He owns you now. You said I do.
And
you're in the tower.
I paid the tower.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
these two cute couple.
Screenshot it. Gonna be a long time. Hold on, we'll go later.
Screenshot it, send it.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you. Now you could do everyone.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, let me know if you need to.
That was like
refill or-
20 minutes ago when I asked you.
I'm sorry,
That's
my
okay,
phone
too.
did not go off.
Oh, it didn't. Huh. Oh. I was just like for some times.
Love you,
to-
Edith. Oh. I asked her earlier, it's like maybe sometimes maybe she could change like the way that her phone rings because it currently doesn't. Okay, so if she could change that at least for when I call her.
Yeah.
You know, this like sometimes when I call her, I actually want to talk to her.
Look, beat her after the show. After.
Yeah, not on camera.
She doesn't leave
No
marks.
evidence. No one heard that. All right. So again,
Goodness gracious.
screen growth. No. So I guess I'm trying to think before I hand it over to Christy. I'll probably piggyback on a lot of what she says. I can't just recall RFK Jr. stuff, but I'm sure when she says stuff, I'll have things to piggyback on. But as the thing that I really appreciate the most is that he's genuine. I will say this, and you can ignore this or come back to it or hop right on. Something that did piss me the fuck off about RFK Jr. is
Retro.
The Israel-Palestine conflict. He's all on board about Israel like defending itself and not
That's what they're doing.
he's just completely oblivious or just give a fuck about the Palestinian citizens and refugees and people who are just losing their fucking homes because Israel's taking over their lands.
If you guys want a video that breaks that down, they pull up the list of what would make an apartheid and go through each one and show with receipts that, you know, Israel checks off as you go. It's Telesur, and I will, not right now, but I have it, you know, saved. I will send it to you
If you
guys.
don't know much about it, just think of like, look, Israel's playing bingo with humanitarian rights and like okay, so like just like an apartheid bingo game, right? And
Not all of it.
right. And they didn't have to get a double bingo to win, but they did get a cover off. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just got a fucking cover off.
So sad.
And it's not good. It's terrible. And again, I think he is a mostly genuine person on these topics.
His family
But
begs to
if
differ.
you want to be an anti-war candidate,
Rage makes money.
and if you want to be an outsider in the Democratic Party, what have you got to lose taking the right fucking position on a humanitarian rights crisis? So like that's where I really started to like steer the ship of like I still think genuine, but I'm genuine garbage is where I'm starting to head towards. So that sucks for him. But yeah. So Christy, please take over. What you got?
Well, let's see. Several vaccine falsehoods and misrepresentation. I'm probably gonna scooch up for Mike.
He still quotes the guy that like Cadaver's research pulled for like
Yeah, he doesn't.
vaccines cause autism.
He's never been asked like
Epistemological
questions. You know, how do you know that to be true? And can we know this to be true? And then how do you look at studies? And he doesn't. That's called being science illiterate, and I was. So it's you know.
So was I? I'm still not great at it, but like.
And if I don't know, then I can't say that I do like that.
Yeah.
So several vaccine falsehoods and misrepresentations have been strung together in a video aimed at discouraging Black people from getting vaccinated against COVID-19. The hour-long video called Medical Racism, The New Apartheid is hosted by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Anti-vaccination organization, his anti-vaccination organization, Children's Health Defense. It includes mostly rehashed claims about vaccine safety framed to exploit distrust of the medical establishment in Black communities. The video, which was made available on March 11th, doesn't offer any evidence, that's 2019, by the way, doesn't offer any evidence that COVID-19 vaccines, after 2019, that was the article before that, evidence that COVID-19 vaccines are harmful. Instead, it relies on innuendo, citing historical examples of ethical failures in medicine, misrepresenting various scientific studies, and suggesting that the medical establishment cannot be trusted.
Can I pause you there?
Of course.
Because there's a lot of good argument there. There's a lot, especially for the Black community. Absolutely.
Oh, amen, Tuskegee.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the one where they like made a lot of Black people sterile? No.
They gave them syphilis.
Syphilis. Yeah.
They told them they were going to give them something to make sure they wouldn't have a vaccine for it, but they injected them.
Not
with
even
syphilis.
just with Black people, but you've also
Only
got...
with Black, they also found Black people that had it and would say they're treating them and didn't.
Even
wanted to see
general
what would happen.
population of women, pregnancies were a big thing.
Oh,
I can't remember
that
the
everything in
drug.
Yes, gynecological studies started with slave women
Yep.
with no anesthesia.
Yeah. This is why I think that a really good argument for like women's reproductive rights, like right to an abortion, is because like if you give the government the right to stop women from getting abortions altogether, then you also inherently give the government the right to force people to have abortions because you're giving them too much autonomy, like the government too much autonomy over someone's body. Right. I don't think that forced vaccines, which don't really happen, is a good answer.
It depends.
But like, yeah,
you want to go into public school, you want to go in the military, these are the things you have to do.
Right.
Yeah, that could be considered forced. And it's not. It's like it's for the safety of the masses, and so annoying. It's so frustrating.
Right.
Yeah. For example, Kennedy, who is a lawyer, not a doctor, ends the video by discouraging viewers from following the advice of public health officials like Dr. Anthony Fauci, which, you know, you could take him or leave him. He is not the be all. Yeah, just there's a lot. Look at the body of evidence. So, Director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, quote,
look at his body.
"Don't listen to me, don't listen to Tony Fauci, and don't listen to your doctor," end quote. Kennedy says before advising viewers to review the package inserts for vaccines and question whether these ingredients are safe. And any kind of ingredients can be harmful in different quantities and different connected, you know, look at your medicines. It says don't take with this, don't. You know, they can have interact. Yes, if you're not literate to these things or cannot talk to people who are, just assuming if I look up this ingredient and it says that it has caused this, well, how much were they giving X, Y, and Z? You know, it's so frustrating. He mentions a thing that happens in frogs. That was a study. I'm sorry, we're mammals. We're totally different than frogs. And how much were they giving the frogs? And yeah. So to check if those ingredients are safe. Okay, we don't want to read all that. Likewise, promotional material for the video baselessly claims that there are signs that history is repeating itself with the coronavirus. And questions, is the COVID-19 vaccine safe? This is similar to the approach taken in another disinformation video we recently wrote about. In both cases, the videos acknowledge that Black people in the United States are suffering higher rates of illness and death, and they're dying sooner than all of their white counterparts from COVID. Not them dying from COVID-19, but they are, the illness and death from COVID-19, while simultaneously casting doubt on the vaccines that could curb the virus. Referring to Kennedy, Dr. Richard Allen Williams, founder and president of the nonprofit Minority Health Institute, told us in a phone interview, quote, "It seems what he does is take old information and make a leap to the present time and say what happened then is what is applicable to what is going on now," end quote. But the historical examples of unethical medical conduct are very different from the authorized COVID-19 vaccines. All 3 available vaccines in the US went through clinical trials with tens of thousands of participants before the Food and Drug Administration granted them each an emergency use authorization. About 10% of participants in those trials were Black for 2 of the vaccines, and about 17% were Black for the 3rd. The trials were overseen by independent data and safety monitoring boards, and the results were reviewed by the FDA and outside panels of experts around the world. These tested, authorized vaccines are now available to the general population. Now, all that stuff that he was doing, I will put this in the chat underneath it because it goes on. That's just his recent stuff. But this same playbook, he has that nonprofit, and he goes to Africa, and he convinces these young moms who most of them haven't had education that they shouldn't go to the local health center or clinic and vaccine their babies, that it will kill them. It could kill them. They could die from the MMR, the measles, mumps, and rubella. And so these moms were not getting the MMR, and measles swept through. And I mean, so many babies, 2 sisters, there was an 18-month and a 5 or 6 month. They lost both these babies, their first babies together. They're, sisters. And that's just one story of what swept through. Right. And so now we have immigrant communities. They're very vulnerable across the world and, developed nations. Here we have measles. All you got to do is Google measles outbreak in the United States or immigrant communities measles outbreak in the United States. It's because they do not have the, media literacy, the science literacy, and they're trusting people who have authority instead of who have the knowledge. And it's scary. Here's somebody running for president. He's related to JFK. Like, what? Even all the crazy MAGA people were like, they put him as Trump's, vice president.
Yeah.
Klepper goes out and, fingers the pulse. And he talks to so many people that want Trump to have JFK. It would unite the country. And I'm like, oh, dear God. No. So many children have died. There is a report. You can type in, actually, I'll add that one too. It's called Why My Baby by New York Times, How Measles Robs Samoa of Its Young. Yeah, a lot of the stuff he is talking about and spreading is just used for, I don't know why. It's so frustrating.
It's very similar to, like, the Catholic Church didn't mean to do this, but when they told African nations that condoms don't just not help you not get pregnant, and condoms don't just help the suppressing the spread of STDs. It actually helps spread HIV and AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases, which is a lie, which made people use less condoms and more people died from STDs. It's very similar to that, because that kind of misinformation just to get like a means to an end, right? This is why I like to caveat things like we really shouldn't trust pharmaceutical companies. We really should look into where the money is coming from us, from us, but also just from some of the studies, right? And like if the study really has a vested interest and there's not enough people on the outside looking at it, like the study that Christy just quoted, she said the FDA approved it, which is the government, but also other experts.
It was peer reviewed.
It was peer reviewed, right? And if something isn't peer reviewed, then you don't trust it scientifically, because that is 101 of like checking out scientific research, which you don't really learn in a lot of high schools across our nation.
I mean, we have politicians who don't learn this. I can give you an example. They're using this thing, the 5110 or the 1051. What it is, let's say I want to make a claim, and I call the FBI and I say, I have information. I had seen this document. This is what it said on it. It said there were witnesses to Trump doing this or Biden doing this. They have to write down, they have to look into it.
Yeah.
But that stays in their papers. So any scientist, can write a paper. It's just that, a claim until it has been tried to be disproven, has been through the rigorous peer review of their peers who want to show them that they're wrong or help them show that it's right by trying to disprove it.
Yeah.
And they would never try to disprove one of their claims because immediately they would go, oh, they go to what's going to solidify that claim. And we see this in our politicians and our world leaders.
Well, that just happened. Let us see what happened here. Ba-da-bum-bum. Just trying to figure out if anything is still working. Don't mind me while we take an intermission. You know what I should do?
We are back.
There we go. We're back. All right. You over there. There you go. All yours. You're back.
Awesome. So to wrap all of that up with a nice little bow, and if I can remember what I was going to say before things went wrong, is it back up on your end?
Yes, it just popped up.
Cool. Okay. We have our other technical support.
Our wife,
No,
our sister wives,
just the drink and
brother wives and
drink
sister
and
wives.
wife.
Your drink.
My drink and the wife.
She got a sister shirt today. It was super cool.
About the sister wives.
Right?
What?
I said because
What?
you got a sister shirt today, remember? Batgirl.
Oh yeah, we have the same
Oh,
shirt.
I was like, what are you?
All right.
Batgirl shirts with capes on them.
Yeah. So this is where I see like my job, if I like got paid for doing Great Skeptic, would be my job is like I really don't like. Dang it! I knew it. I knew it was coming. A wet silly.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like I don't like the political fight. I don't like drama, right?
Yeah.
I do like that we point out the wrongs.
Yeah.
And these kinds of debates, right? I mean, not that we're fighting with junior face to face. That'd be super fun. Come on, man. But I would like to point out that certain parts of his arguments have credence to them, right?
Right. That's how they do it.
Right. So how we need to respond is not only with the correct scientific research and saying you're wrong, but also just like this is where you're right. Like we talk about this.
We can show that that we are correct on this.
Right. Well, not only that though.
Mm-hmm.
It's the conversations with people who we don't agree with. The only way you get them to listen to you and take you seriously or take you as genuine,
right,
is say, I agree with you. Corporations fucking suck, especially the pharmaceutical, the big pharma, right? It's terrible. I agree. It's a huge problem.
The racket.
It's a racket for sure. And they have too much power and they probably do lie for money, right? I agree with all of that, sir. But I disagree with this, and this. But although we disagree there,
okay, go check him out. He's really hot. Oh no, he's calling me.
But even though we disagree there, we need to find a place where we both do agree, and so we can work on the problem together. Like I said, we need to work on who's funding the research. Is it peer reviewed? Because that should matter to either party or any faction of any party when it comes to information. And do you have anything to add?
Ba-do-ba-ba-da-ba.
Bop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there was something else I was going to piggyback on with that. But I think it's just important to point out, like, so if you know anyone who likes RFK Jr., one of the things you want to do is agree on the points that we agree with, because that's the first step of finding a solution. Right?
Yeah, saying he's wrong doesn't mean he's a bad person at all.
Yeah, no. And I really do think he's genuine. I'm not just saying that. So people who are watching this podcast, they're like, don't lie about it. I don't think you should lie about it. But lying.
He's doubled down though, when a lot of his family who actually have that knowledge have told him and the world. New York Times, you can go on there and RFK's family says he's just wrong on these things and go through a list of things that they've tried to demonstrate how he's wrong. So many black babies. That's why people don't care. If he would have went to Iceland or England, it would have been a different story. And it's frustrating. So I can't say that, I wouldn't be able to show my face if someone said, here, we can demonstrate that you're wrong on this. And then knowing that wrong thing killed all these babies. Right.
And I think that sometimes in these arguments, people who even don't buy their own bullshit. And this is why we're like a religion and politics show, is because there's so many good correlations to make here. There's so many evangelicals who like to lie for Jesus. Like they'll lie a little bit because like it makes enough sense to make my point. You can't do that with medicine. You can't do that with arguments in general, because then you've lost. Like if you get something wrong, that's a big no-no. But if you lie about something just to make a point, just to get a means to an end or to get a result that you want in politics, you're showing that you're untrustworthy. Right? It's okay to be wrong on accident. I encourage that, right? Because that's how you have genuine debate. But if you're going to lie about something, or be disingenuous, then you've lost the ball. You lost the game. So don't lie for argument's sake. And that's when you really need to stop trusting a person. It's when you see that they're doing that. Like if RFK's Jr. family is saying, yeah, he's wrong. He's told us he knows he's wrong. Right? If he says,
well, he also has an echo chamber. There are literally hundreds of millions of people who love him and listen to him and dote on his every word, who are also anti-vaxxers, who are not media, but who are also science. Many of them.
Right.
Yeah. So he says, no, you're saying this, but all of these people are saying this.
Right.
And he's going to go with this because now he doesn't have to say he's wrong. I mean, I don't know that that's what he's doing. I just don't know why he wouldn't look into it.
Right. But so my point is, if that's the case, like it seems to be with him, because he's in an echo chamber, you can say that about any community, including ours. And we have a little bit of a wider community here just on this channel, but you can say that about any community. So you need to drop back to, how do I make this a conversation? Right? You can use a little epistemology. You can use a little bit of agreeing with people about the parts that you actually agree with. Because if you're an evangelical talking to an atheist, right? The argument of the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Get out, you demon. When we don't believe in demons. Two, you're not listening to us at all, right? Like people just start to ignore you when you're just not paying attention. You're just saying what your piece, and you really don't give a shit what the other party's saying. So you need to give a shit about who you're talking to and their views, find something in common, and then hash out the differences. But if they're not willing to do that on their side, when you're trying to use those tools, then it's pretty much just time to give up on the conversation. Just like stand as firm as you want and then exit.
I try to always remember that I used to hold really ridiculous beliefs. And Dunning-Kruger is real. The less you know, the less people know, the more they think they know things. And you know, when I tried
Get
to
that backfire.
prove
effect.
that someone else's religion was not the right one, I realized that neither is mine and nobody's was. So, and then it kind of like, oh yeah, all of this makes sense. And after being pissed off for a couple weeks, it was just like all this weight came off. So I do, you know, have to remember that I used to hold ridiculous beliefs, but also it's very hard for me to talk to someone who's like, but you don't believe in God? Well, you're gonna go to hell? I'm like, yeah, there is no hell either. Well, Satan's telling you that. I'm like, I don't believe in him either. Like, and then, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't believe it. And I'm like, I don't believe in Santa or any of those things. No magic. I like Harry Potter, but I know it's not real.
Right.
Like,
that's
really hard. Now, if they were to leave it there, it's fine. But if they want to keep, you know, I just can't believe it. I can't talk to you because you don't hold this thing that I believe without anything backing it
or
up.
because you worship Satan.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
Well, if it's not black, it's white. If it's not right, it's wrong.
Yeah.
If it's not up, it's down.
I think it's the same thing with RFK Jr. So, like, if we have like some hardcore progressives here in the house tonight too, don't paint with broad strokes, because then it shows that you actually don't know the issue that you're talking about, or you're actually strawmanning someone's position, and you might actually just be wrong. You need to actually listen to his interview,
respect them, and steel man their argument.
Yeah, steel man, and if
steel woman.
But if you, even if you do listen to them and you still think they're full of bullshit, you can say that, but don't misinterpret what they're saying on purpose or half-heartedly because you didn't care enough to listen. But actually give it some time.
Tell them they're stupid or ignorant.
Right. Caveat when you can, so you don't look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, asking questions.
Yeah.
Well, if it is true, I would like to know.
Should be better.
Yeah, if it's true, I'd like to know. I want to be as right as I can about as many things as possible. So if you can demonstrate that to me, normally shut someone up. I actually had like a 3-month long back and forth with someone who lives in another country, India, Pakistan. How Mother Teresa, I'm just wrong. That at the end of one long thing, he said, I can't tell if you're stupid or just, you know, ad homs, which kind of made me like, oh, wow. So I links, articles, how I can know. Here's proof. Here's families talking about what was being done. You know, she made a lot of money and hung out with a lot of rich people and used that money supposedly to make sure that these souls, then they were all terminal, you know, didn't have to suffer on the street. They were complete, no money, no place to live. However, because they were sinners, especially the AIDS, anybody with AIDS, no pain medicine, nothing. They just had to suffer.
Yeah.
One kid, a real doctor came in and said, this kid is not, he will die if he doesn't have this easy surgery we do all the time. And she wouldn't do it because who his family was, his mom was, you know, a prostitute, and she was just a vile fucking human. And he did, here's all these, and and then I said, well, if you want to prove to me right, then go show me how you know that to be true, please. And I don't think I've heard back from him.
Yeah, that's fine. Nacho, do you have any more to add to this part, or anything you think that ring any bells you want to ask us about? Or
mostly all good on this one. It's a bit out of my wheelhouse, really. It's more on the you know.
He's a horrible.
We're over here in the right side up part of the world, and it doesn't really.
Well, maybe he's right side up and we're upside down.
Don't say that. You don't know that.
Lord have mercy. We're just the marble spinning through the, you know. Maybe no one's right.
Well, we're
side
spinning
up.
right side
He
up.
gets there first all the time.
That doesn't mean anything. Don't even think about it.
Wow.
Whose underside are you on?
I do like an undercarriage.
I want to be on someone's underside.
Giggity. Oh man, that's funny.
Here I thought I was the only non-fruit in the house.
No, apparently we're
you
all
are what you eat.
As the chat said, we're all lesbians here, and yes, we are what we eat.
Yep.
Apparently I'm pizza.
We need some lesbian oranges.
God, I've been watching you eat that pizza too, and I'm so hungry.
It is.
I need food.
New York white pizza. So it's got like Alfredo sauce, and then the cheese and lots of ricotta or cheese on the top, and then it has 2 toppings: the ricotta cheese, and the second topping is garlic and olive oil. I'm sure my
I'm gonna
breath
have to
smells.
order a pizza after this.
Smell and taste is this.
Oh, it's yummy, huh?
This
Yes.
mango, pineapple.
You
vodka.
need more, don't you?
I do, but you don't need to do that right now.
I don't mind. Sing a song.
Sing a song.
What about you, little lady?
Do we have any more questions?
Smith's got a good one actually. Talk about Australia's gun buyback program and how it led to increased crime because only criminals had guns.
Yeah.
That is a great question. Strangely enough, that never happened though. The buyback did, and it worked very well. The whole idea of the, the only, if nobody has guns, the only people with guns are going to be criminals, is kind of a good thing, because, cops also have guns, and so then it makes it really, really easy for the cop to figure out who's the bad guy, because they have a gun. And it's really easy then for the cops to take care of that person without worrying about everyone else that might have a gun that's a good guy. It's simple. If you have a gun, you're a bad guy. So, it really narrows it down. And the other thing that's happened was here in Queensland and I think in Sydney and in Melbourne mainly, the big city central areas, we do have still gun crime that happens. It is just about never involving anyone that isn't already involved in crime. Meaning, the most prolific thing that we'll find is, the bikies, for example. I'm not going to name actual groups because that could get us into trouble. Okay. They will have rivalries with each other, or they'll have they reckon that one of their people in charge are, ratting to the cops or something like that. They'll shoot each other, but they'll only shoot each other. They won't go and shoot up, a bunch of innocent civilians. They won't go and do a mass shooting in a mall or something because it's some random that's lost his nut and he has access to a gun. These people, they are, they're criminals inherently because they have guns, but they won't go and shoot other, just randoms in the street. That's not what they're about. This is organized crime. They have rules. And for a good reason. They don't want to draw all the attention. If they shoot some random civilian, their whole operation's getting shut down. Not even by the cops, by the, people in charge.
Yeah.
So, you don't really see gun violence as a problem or, suicide or anything like that here at all.
Would be nice.
Or at least it's so rare that it almost never happens. Contrast that with America. How's it going there in America with, with your guns and stuff? It's, land of the free and land of the dead, I think, is something like that.
Yep. I was listening to big surprise, Kalinske, yesterday.
Gravity's on.
Whenever I was driving and you were asleep.
Yeah, because she'll know.
Yeah, and
I internalize.
she doesn't get a lot of naps. She does know when now.
The little outlet.
No, he was saying how there's 80% of Americans, or young Americans, don't have pride for their country. This is just done around July 4th.
That's just the dingiest thing.
It's super sad. But I mean, it's he said it well when he said one line during that segment where it's just it's not do they like our country, do we love our country? It's are we proud of it? And I'm that's very true for me. I'm not proud of our country.
I'm proud of a lot of things,
though. I'm traveling.
Here. There are many things actually that I'm proud of here.
I am too, but at the same time, we're on vacation right now. We're traveling.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't like to seem too much like a tourist, which is funny because she's going to take so many pictures.
You should have seen him. He had two nose from the sunscreen. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm also thinking like, man, I would love to go like across the ocean with my wife, with my family sometime. And I don't want to say that I'm American when I do that. Like, I'd be a little embarrassed if like, oh, you're American, because I feel like the general like thought of us is not very educated. Probably
Mac,
pretty big.
I gotta tell you something. They're gonna know anyway.
You're from Ohio, bro.
I know.
We
You
can
look up
tell
Wonder
an
Brothers, a picture
American
of
tourist from a mile away. Same in Europe. Europeans, they can tell yous a mile off. You guys have a way about yous when you're going on like travels as well, especially. It is notorious.
It's the Dunning-Kruger.
Americans-
Dunning-Kruger coming off.
They can be picked out of a crowd, so easily. Like, even Canadians are actually pretty good. Like, they're nowhere near as obnoxious as Americans can be.
Yeah, no. I mean, have you guys watched any of those videos? Any videos where it's like foreigners talk about or give their opinions about Americans. Random, on the street. In France, there were not. I mean, they were a little harsh.
Yeah.
Ireland,
yeah.
they talked a lot about, there's such a huge difference in America between the wealthy and the not, and like Ireland gave some good critique, but the French were like stupid American, very stupid and ignorant and hateful, and and they call themselves a democracy. They've only been a democracy since 1965, which you're right. All right, America, fuck yeah.
Eagle shooting gun.
Just quickly, if I can, back to the guns thing. We did actually have what we consider was a terrible mass shooting just very recently, only a month or so ago.
Yes.
I think it was 2 cops were killed, the neighbor, and then the 3, we'll call them cult members. They had basically set up a trap for anyone that it was like an end of the world sort of scenario for them, and they defended their property. They had one of the people had been classified as missing, a missing person, so they were doing a welfare check for them. So the cops were entering the property to see if they could check up on this one person. And upon just entering the property, they were surrounded and shot. 2 of the cops died. 2 of them managed to escape. And basically then, special tactical forces came in and just, ended the situation.
Martin Bryant?
Oh, no, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, no, that was the first one. This is the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If you can't remember their names. But that happened, and so, like, yes, things like that can still happen. It's not like, there is just no guns, and so there's never any issue with it at all. But it's like, that one issue, we had, 5 people die that day? And that was national news. It's still being talked about. It's still being
Camp Hill,
it's going to be,
yeah.
It's still going
February
to be investigated for ages.
2020. Yeah, it's a domestic violence incident. Oh my gosh. There's a lot.
Wait, no.
Suicide at the scene, killing 4 occupants. This was February 19th, 2020.
No, he's talking like really like.
Oh, this is
the past week or so. Sorry,
it's a Wiambilla police shootings.
I have no idea how to spell that.
WIEAMBILLA. It was a religiously motivated terrorist attack. 12th of December 2022. Involved killing of police constables, Matthew Arnold and Rachel McCrow, and the neighbour Good Samaritan, Alan Dare, who had come over to basically try and help not knowing what was going on. The three residents, brothers Gareth and Nathaniel Train, and Gareth's wife Stacey Train, were all subsequently shot and killed by the responding police. The shootings were labelled as Australia's first fundamentalist Christian terrorist attack.
Yeah, geez. William Billius Street, Australia's police ambushed by religious terror attack. Like, there's so many words in the title. So many things happened in that one shooting.
Yeah.
Gareth was a known online conspiracy theorist who claimed the Port Arthur massacre was a false flag operation. The Port Arthur massacre is what led us to our gun buyback scheme. It was the last real mass shooting we've ever had, or probably the only real one we've ever had. Where after that we went, yep, no more guns. He reckons it was a false flag operation. Of course he would. And that Princess Diana was killed in a blood sacrifice, apparently. So he's obviously a real he's a real smart one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like the QAnon crazies kind of are everywhere. It doesn't have to be QAnon, just that.
See, like,
and there's actually a cure for that. It's called education.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is that these guys were teachers.
Oh, the heroes.
The people you'd think would know better, you know, like would have that education.
So, like,
I wonder what happened.
Dunning-Kruger effect, but like, it's interesting how like outsiders are more trusted to people, like outsiders who have qualifications, right? Like, I can think of a handful of times where, like, you find a geologist who's a creationist.
Yeah, no.
And then
No, but yeah, you're right.
every Christian only cites the 1 out of 1,000 who agrees with that. But look, I know a geologist does. Yeah, but that's not the scientific consensus. Like, well, yeah, we know it's not because everyone else has bought and paid for it. Like, yeah, but also, like, peer review.
Yeah, no.
Smitty mentioned a really good point. I just want to bring it up real fast.
Please.
He says Australia's remaining gun violence could probably be mitigated by ending the drug war. Which, you know, that is probably absolutely right. The majority of our gun violence, or even just violence in general, is fueled by the drug war, or the war on drugs. Because, of course, that then fuels the crime, which then fuels the addictions, which, etc., etc.
Mm.
So it's a good point. Yeah, Smitty's always right, except when it comes to music. Righto.
Oh, man. Purple. Maya. Maya. Brian Stevens. Yes, yes, yes.
We got peeps.
We do. It's pretty awesome.
Marshmallow peeps.
I think that it's
Spooky.
we have more guns here than people. You know, what is always said, serve as it will. You know, if there is a bad guy, I heard you guys talking about, if there was a good guy, then, you know, there wouldn't be a bad guy. So we need a good guy with a gun because there's a bad guy with a gun. But that whole narrative, it's proven false every day, because if it was true, then America, North America, the United States of America would be the safest nation in the world, because we have more guns than any other nation. So that alone, on paper and real life, should prove, because what, are we all bad guys? Like, yeah, no, you're almost Flash good. You're like Barry out.
Here's the thing. Like, I know this is not going to be new to you guys. You'll understand it real easy. Like, you got a person. They have a gun. They raise the gun towards another person. That other person has a gun. They raise their gun back towards that first person. Now you have two people ready to shoot each other. Cop walks in. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Right, right.
So,
you know, they're both going to defend each other in their own way. And the cop's only option is either shoot them both or don't do anything.
Yeah.
or just make a decision and shoot one of them, and you're right or you're wrong, and
or the first person that was in there with a gun to tell the cop that's the bad guy is probably going to get someone shot.
Good guy with the gun. You guys already pay people for that job. They're cops. You don't need another good guy on the street with a gun, because that's just going to make the job of the cop so much harder. And it's no wonder you guys have so much issue with cops killing people. They're almost no option. Yeah, like, it's ridiculous. You don't have any. We freak out, for example, because about a month or so ago, a little old lady, she was like a 90-year-old in a nursing home. She had a kitchen knife. She was in the nursing home, in her home.
Oh, I read that.
She was like, had dementia. She, a little frail, tiny lady. Not a big, scary person anyway. Copper comes up, tells her to drop the knife. She didn't drop the knife, so they tased her. She fell back, knocked her head, she died. This was an absolute outrage here. Yeah, that is unacceptable. And absolutely. The thing is, that's the most extreme we get. That is the most extreme. Because usually, when a cop pulls a gun on someone and shoots them, they have undeniable evidence that they had to do that they had no other option. I think there was one account a year or so ago where the cop pulled the gun instead of the taser by mistake. That's a terrible tragedy, but it wasn't on purpose.
He works at the junkyard now.
It's just frustrating. Like the cops here, they don't walk around on a fucking knife edge. Like they're not. They are, they've got a lot to deal with. It's a lot more of melee here, though. So you've got to actually be tough. You don't hide behind a gun.
Right, which I hate.
I mean, you guys definitely. I don't remember the amounts at this point telling you this, but I remember watching this thing on guns, and it, showed the training in Canada and the training here for cops, and so many other developed nations have like significantly more training for their police than we do, and many of them have peace officers that are there to protect and serve. They don't carry a gun. If they need that kind of thing, then they're gonna call in the big guys, because they know by looking at us here, if this situation doesn't warrant a gun and someone getting shot, why would you call them at this point? Like, what? That's sad that it has to be like that. Right. These two neighbors are arguing. What would make it worse? Someone not knowing what's going on with a gun. Yeah. So
I mean, these cops have to go by the same standard as a lot of people who are like gun-toting peeps want to go by. Is shoot first, ask question later. So if you see 2 or 3 people with a gun and you don't want to be shot, and and have your wife and family know, like, officer so-and-so died in the line of service, you just shoot first, ask questions later, right? It's not very good public service, but it's better for self-preservation.
Protecting and serving themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, that said, I wanted to make another little correlation that I don't think we've really ever. You did what now?
The blood had to catch up to my head.
Nice.
Gravity's on. You didn't turn it down. Damn it.
I feel like we didn't like we haven't made this connection before, and I'm excited to hear what you say of it. But if you look at how we are as Americans, more guns than people, right? Yeah. And good guy with a gun arguments.
You've already proved that wrong.
Yeah. But then you also look at our military and how much firepower and nuclear capabilities that we have. And when we say we're the good guys with the guns, we don't cause less violence around the world. I feel like we see the same correlation on from a government standpoint as a military force in the world with more firepower than anyone else, and citizens too. We just cause violence everywhere we go because we have the means to do so, to make life and death decisions, and be super rational.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time that the United States fought a defensive war.
Yeah, that's what Marianne was.
I want our military to be the biggest, baddest institution for peace of our nation and our allies. And if someone invades someone else, we got to think of it as, shit, what if X did that to us? How would we feel? We would like freaking hate it.
We
Okay.
don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know. It just sucks because it's not about the people, the peasants. It isn't. But they're the ones who make up the majority of the military. I gave Mac the photo from the end of the Vietnam War, where all these veterans who either just got home or been home and we're not going back, marching with this big banner that says, "We will not fight any more rich man's war," because they realize, like, why are we here? And oh, well, it's to hold this land for this port because that corporation back home wants to, there's just a lot of that. It's sad. A lot of them wrote in the journals. You can watch it on YouTube, listen to them. They, on their third tour, they knew what it was, and they would save up their money because they had to go, and they'd go out into the bush, the jungle, and smoke weed and hang out with the villagers. And they couldn't. They were like, for those people haven't done anything to us. They're defending their home. That's what I would do if someone came to my mom's house. They kind of understood, and we need to get back there. Since then, though, I mean, there's been Iraq and Afghanistan, and those are things I'm not proud of. However, we have more diversity within our borders than any other place, and it's fragile, but we've got this far. It would be amazing to see how far we could take that.
People,
to me, I dream about it.
As a species, we get the most together when we pick each other's noses.
Yes.
You can pick your friends, and you can pick your nose, but only the true thing. Your nose.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, that's about what I was gonna say. It's like when we work together, outside of our little tribes, because we're such tribal little freaks, animals. We don't get a lot done. I mean, the Bible has a lot of really good examples about this, like the way that in Genesis it talks about the stairway to heaven, right? Babylon, when people came together to make cities, these nomads who ended up retelling the story were like, this is what society gets you, right? Things happen, it gets fucked up. God spread us all back out because he doesn't want us together in the first place. But when you get people together, you get giant buildings. People think they can reach the clouds, and we do. We really do. We have buildings that reach the clouds now.
Yeah.
So we came back and made a comeback.
We fly on big metal machines,
right?
To other nations across the ocean. It used to take 3 months to get across.
We can do spectacular things when we work together, but there is always a specific section or sections of this of our societies, because there's so many of them, that want to hold that back because they think it's bad, they think it's evil, they think we actually shouldn't work together. We think some peoples are lesser than other peoples. Yeah. We think that some religions or gods are better than or worse than other ones. But when we actually work together and put our differences aside, we do the best things, like CERN, right? The big collider. Yeah. We mean that was like,
there's a new documentary out. I think all of you guys should watch it. It's about Texas's hole in the ground, the collider we never got. I will actually post it underneath this video after we're done. It's called Texas's Big Hole in the Ground or something like. I haven't watched it. It's like 2 hours. And at first, you just mentioned the collider, and I was like, wait, what? It's been paid for? And it's
the hadron.
Yeah, so this is, the receipts. The chickens are coming home to roost on this one. I think we have some boys that are getting out of hand, and I'm gonna have to separate them and make them stand in the corner.
But yeah, just coming together, working together. I don't remember how we got on that anymore, but What is next? Unless we have more to talk about on the guns in Australia or America. America. Fuck yeah.
America, fuck yeah.
No.
Oh, you guys watch animation? Okay, I totally don't. I'm an adult. I watch smart things, but sometimes.
I don't watch cartoons.
Mulligan. Tina Fey is one of the creators. It's hilarious. As aliens come to the Earth and they crash land, and the entire Earth is destroyed except for Washington, D.C. And this guy who is not bright at all played hockey and talks exactly like JFK in the 60s. It is so funny. He played hockey, so he hit the hockey puck into this alien spaceship into this vent, and it brings it down. And there was a girl who was Miss America. She survived. She ends up being first lady, and he ends up being president. Like, there's no Senate. Most everyone's dead. It is hilarious, though. There's only one season. It's very political. If you are very informed and like a political junkie like me, you'll get even more of the jokes, but you don't have to be to get it. There is one old guy who was a member of Congress before all this went down, and he'll have these votes where he calls to order. There's no one there. Call to order. Corporations get a vote, and like all eyes. I'm like, he loves it. It's really good, really, really good. Uh-oh. Okay. All right now. I'm bossy. Yeah, well, you can't. I'm just kidding.
Going up.
Okay.
Going up for anything.
You were trying to love a cat.
What is yeah,
I watch cartoons, especially. Okay.
So is that like your favorite cartoon?
No, my favorite one in the last, I mean, a Rick and Morty. Unfortunately, I know I shouldn't, because I don't care. I love the cartoon. I know the old man was a dirty old man in real life. I love it. But my the best one in the last few years is Big Mouth, fucking hands down. And then Hormone.
We like Big Mouth.
Yes, Inside Job. Love Inside Job. Very political. It's like the CIA, the deep state. Oh, love that one. That just got canceled, which is really sad.
It is sad.
It is sad. It is. I like F is for Family. I love that one.
Have you watched Archer?
Not in a long time.
I love Archer. Shit, I can like recite like the first episode.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I love Archer. I also love Digimon. Do you have any Digimon fans here?
I don't even couldn't tell you what it is.
Just a like.
Is it Jamaican? Digimon.
No.
You bumble
no, it's Japanese.
You had a Jamaican beef patty today.
I sure did. Finally,
for the first time
ever. You can see it here live. But yeah, no, we yeah, I tried a Jamaican beef patty. It was great. I'm gonna have more. I need that more. But yeah, no, I watch cartoons, and it's cool because I have kids. I only watch them with kids.
I wouldn't watch Mulligan. I mean, I don't know. It was pretty funny. Like Big Mouth, I would think my girls like at 4 and 5 and 6, I wouldn't watch Big Mouth with them at all. But 12 and 13, hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's all the things their bodies are going through. I think it's brilliant. Yes. And then the
Stoker.
The hormone monsters.
Yeah.
I love Connie and Mona.
I'm gonna go. Fuck it down.
Maury. I love that the guys give birth. And he doesn't, their kid is a hormone monster, but his name is Montel. He doesn't identify as a hormone monster. He identifies as a shame monster.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's so good. So good.
Did you just call me Shane Wizard?
You do that really well.
Thanks.
He's such a horrible character. You can't help but love him. And then
It's gonna make it sick and warm.
Paradise PD. Paradise PD, anyone? Okay. Okay, you need to watch Paradise PD. It's really, really, really funny. It's about a police department. Like, yeah, I can't ruin it for you, but it is inappropriate and so good. Oh, we got Titan.
We still need to ask Nacho what his favorite cartoon or cartoons are.
Animation.
Oh,
Happy.
that's a tricky one. You're trying
Well,
to
give us a
make me
list.
narrow this down.
Mhm.
Yeah, give me a
I
sec.
mean,
I'm gonna actually open
give
up
us, like,
my
5.
All right.
Five, two,
Let's
Yeah,
see.
because if I haven't
What
seen
would be
them,
my
I don't know.
first favorite one? Just give me a sec. Oh, yeah. It'll be either Rugrats or the Wild Thornberrys. They have to be my number one. I actually love the Class Bitch
That's so
Supo.
cool.
They did some of the most amazing cartoons ever. After that, Daria. Daria is amazing. I love Daria.
It came out when I was in like 8th
Um,
or 9th grade.
What else? I've got a bunch from my era. So like, Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold was amazing.
Arnold.
Biker Mice from Mars. Real Monsters.
Ah!
Ren and Stimpy, of course. Yeah.
Eyeballs. And the hairy armpit.
There was something like Johnson's. God, I've got to remember this one now. Johnson. Cartoon, 90s, Johnson's something. Johnson and Friends. Johnson and Friends. It's not a cartoon. It's real life puppetry sort of show.
Like Dark Crystal.
Bit like that, yeah. Not quite as freaky. It's more innocent. Actually, the Ferals. Did you guys ever hear of the Ferals? It is a live action puppetry again, but it's like it is one of the funkiest kids shows ever. I'd love you to watch like an episode or two. It is so weird, but it's so awesome.
I'm down for weird and awesome.
I have if you guys haven't spent time on these, you should. A lot of the DC animated movies and like the Justice League shows and stuff. Those are really good. Like
Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
Rocko's, yeah. It's funky.
That was such an adult show. It's a kid's show, but the dude works most of the time in the show. He's working at a fucking as a sex hotline. That's actually his job. Like, and it's a kid's show. It's ridiculous. I love it.
Like that.
Yeah,
like it was supposed
my
to
girl
be more like
Rugrats and SpongeBob a lot, and the Hey Arnold and the Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yep. Did you guys know that Tommy Pickles from Rugrats was partially like that? He has a lot of Doctor Who hints to him.
I still haven't watched Doctor Who, not one.
Did you know that, Nacho?
No, I didn't. I knew. Was it one of the voice? I think it was Chucky's voice was a popular voice actor in a lot of different cartoons, but that's pretty much the only trivia I've got.
So let me give you just a couple things I remember offhand. Does Tommy have that little like Saturn on his shirt? Is that?
I think that's what Tommy's got. Yeah. The little planet.
So there's that because he's like, he likes space stuff. So like the creator wanted him to have like a little planet shirt. Two was his screwdriver, sonic screwdriver. He had that screwdriver for fucking everything, and so does Doctor Who. The other thing is, you know how he has fucking everything in his diaper? It's because it's larger on the inside.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Mary Poppins' bag. You know, you can fit everything in it.
But it was based off of the TARDIS. Like his justification was the Doctor Who version of that, because they just love Doctor Who. So funness there. What I was saying about the DC comics. If you guys are fans of superhero stuffs and things, like the movies, the DC live action movies kind of suck currently, at least I think. And if you agree with me,
I don't know. I couldn't tell you which ones are out.
I could tell you.
Yeah.
So like the Man of Steel, I think it sucked.
What's that about?
Oh, that's super good.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like it, but I haven't even seen a preview, so.
Yeah. Oh, this is a few years old now, but the Zack Snyder.
I can tell you what's out of the movie 2 years ago.
2 years ago. That's old news.
Is it Tommy or
But
is it?
It's word news. Oh, not old.
These ones are bad.
I got some brand new
Because, like,
ones for you.
The Marvel movies are
Uh-huh.
great. They're
Yes,
super
that's what I
fun.
was thinking. Smitty, it's Chucky's shirt that had the planet on it,
Ah,
not
okay.
Tommy's.
Yeah, there's that.
That's how I got mixed up too.
My bad. I was wrong. Thank you for the correction.
Paul Germain would be the guy that you're referring to as one of the creators of Tommy.
Oh, good.
Paul Germain and Arlene Klasky, Klasky being one of the two ladies that owned the company Klasky Supo, both have laid claim to creating the Tommy character, both saying he was based upon their real-life sons. The character's first name comes from Germain's son, and he was drawn to resemble Klasky and her then-husband, fellow Rugrats co-creator Gabor Supo, and their son.
I remember. Yeah. I'm glad we get to have these fun talks. We don't get like fun
Right.
talks like this.
Yeah.
Again, does anyone have any more questions? Because I have at least one more question for everyone.
How about this? Here we go. Just a little bit of random. The voice actor who voiced Tommy Pickles originally for a decade or so.
Is it Emma Daly?
E.G. Daly, so it'd probably be an Emma, yes. Was also the provided the voice for Babe in Babe Pig in the City, which is the second movie for Babe.
You guys are naming all the stuff that my girls watched growing up, and I'm like over here, like whatever, boomer.
She was in the music video for Rod Stewart's Young Turks. How about that?
Say what now?
And she's been in several Rob Zombie films. Cool.
Yeah, Rob Zombie's cool.
Dracula.
And wasn't
Good on
his
her.
name from Danzig?
Who's?
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Mm-mm.
The guy from Danzig.
Not cool enough.
The main guy, short hair, muscles, tattoos.
Sometimes Chrissy thinks I'm way
Yeah, I
cool.
know the guy. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah, me either. But when you
Glenn.
mentioned Rob Zombie, yeah.
Glenn
like-
Danzig.
Corey
God, that's
Amo-
right. He's got such a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
If it don't fit, force it.
Yeah.
Get consent.
Would you like to? No.
I didn't. I'm showing you what not to do. It's
Like
been
to
a
see what
PSA.
happens every Friday.
This moves.
No, don't do it. She'll kill me.
Oh, she won't. She's not gonna rewatch this.
It turns out you're all actually naked over there.
Not that bad.
No, she's whatever. Don't make me throw nerds at you.
Nerd.
I've had it all pressed this week. I just
Is that Chinese you're speaking?
Okay, so I'm gonna look through. Did we
Yeah,
get
you
any
look
other questions?
Well, you named. I wrote down the Pharaohs. If you guys haven't watched Paradise PD,
Billy Piper was awesome. RB, you're right.
mm,
Sorry, go on.
it is really funny. He's my favorite character is Bullet the dog. However, what is it? Stacey was in here. She would know. There is a character. He is humongous, like overly obese.
I've heard the big red dog.
He's a no.
Oh,
There
Albert?
no Paradise PD
Oh,
police
sorry.
department.
That was only half the thing. I'm sorry, I was trying.
The dog has a huge drug problem, and he works at the police department and works where the intake of drugs goes. And there's the massively overweight guy. I don't know why, but the way that he talks and it's just like he doesn't say biscuits, he says biscuits. It's just so funny. I can't think of his name right now, but he's my second favorite character. He's a horrible person. He's really bad. He uses blackmail and he's just not a good person. It's a cartoon, I get it, but he's but he's so funny, hilariously funny. And then the old guy, he's still in the police force, and he's the main character's dad. And he's got a really, really big schlong, and he's super, super gay, and he likes young guys. It's just so funny. It's completely inappropriate.
Historically, that's how it goes. Anyway.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopkins is the
What
old guy's name. Right.
Our thoughts
let me put
on
my eyes on.
what are our thoughts on space colonization?
Yeah.
So colonization, not specifically just for mining, but actual colonies in space.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Answer how it's
anything
written.
I don't think there's anything we can't do it. It's just like not possible.
Go for it, Nacha. What's your take?
I'm sort of sitting more in the where Christy is. Like, I actually really highly doubt that we will ever get to a stage where that will be a practical thing that we do.
Right.
I
mean,
we'll end up destroying ourselves before we get there.
Right.
Well, probably. That's another reason to do it.
No, just to set up the infrastructure that would be needed to house humans to live there. How do you do that if you can't be there to build this? Like, we just can't do.
And there's
we
a level
can't
of
have 5 people go under the ocean right now.
yeah,
like,
there's a level of well, in fairness, space is a much easier atmosphere to go and explore than under the ocean.
Yes.
There is radiation.
There's like the level of risk isn't as high, basically, at all stages of time. When
Fucking crazy, isn't it?
Oh.
Like, it's
Are you
insane.
supposed to breathe with no air?
In fact, like, I just don't think we've got 2 main things to overcome. First is the resource issue. We don't have enough resources to make this possible. Even if we did and we could get the resources out of the atmosphere and to another place to do this, even if that was possible, we would still then be going, okay, where are we actually going to live? What do we have to do to sustain proper life without it being an enclosed box, environment for the rest of your life? And of course, if we try and do enclosed box, your own internal atmosphere, wherever we go, that's going to fail at some point. That's not a permanent thing. We're going to need a actual healthy, survivable planet or something like it that we don't need to maintain for this to be something we could do.
Icy meteors.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing we really could do is a proper, changing the entire the atmosphere, just changing everything, creating a new Earth, basically.
Yeah.
We don't have the resources to do that for our Earth. The idea of then just going off to another planet and trying to do it to another planet is ridiculous. It will not happen.
I agree. Right. Why wouldn't we want to do it here where we can actually survive to build things that we could live in?
Because we're sick of it here.
Well, then those people can
Smitty,
Christ, that's the point.
if it's not going to be planet-based, you're going to be stuck in a tin box, like in whatever form or shape, and that's not a survival outcome. Like, that's not something that humans can last.
Thank you, Smitty.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there are complete, communities, not just in our country, but and significantly poverty-stricken areas that could really, really benefit from not just housing, like I said here as well, but just maybe a medical clinic, some education for their kids, where there's places where families can't afford for their daughters to get married because the family who wants to marry her can't give them or the family with the daughter can't give oxen or land to, like, seriously, like 1400 bullshit.
Well, that's a good point, Christy.
Yeah,
what you're saying is true. Like, this is a fantasy of the mega wealthy.
Yeah, thank you.
This is something that is. It's not going to help any actual human progression in any way. This is it's an Elon Musk wanting to make his dick bigger.
Yeah, bye, Elon. Tell us what it's like. Write us a postcard. Oh, wait, there's no mail going or coming, so.
At least that's one thing I can respect about that Stockton Rush guy. He, as delusional as he was, he believed in his own bullshit to the point where he was going down there, he was on that, and he went with it, you know, like, so in the same sense, if Elon, for example, or whoever wanted to do something like this, they can be the first to go up. They can go up, show us it can be done, and as long as they're not sitting, you know, on Earth watching from down here, then I'll at least be like, well, good, he believes in his own bullshit.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm not leaving you. I have to tingle because if I light this and I cough, then I might pee myself.
We don't want that.
No,
That would.
we're just gonna be transparent, you know. That's what's happening. And Mac's looking at his phone. He's the one ignoring you. I'm
not. I'm just not ignoring Smitty along the way. To your point, Nacha, I think, like it's a dream of the mega wealthy. It's not that I disagree with you, but I also agree with Smitty here. It's just like I'm not mega wealthy. Space colonization, it can absolutely help normal people. LOL. And I said back to him, I'm just like, Smitty, yeah, if the mega wealthy go, right, that might help us. But no, honestly, and he answered again, great skeptic. It's always frustrating when my well thought out opinion is dismissed as dogma of group I don't belong to. Yeah, no, like honestly though, like I think this kind of gets back to where I said like when we come together as a people, we can really reach new heights, and I think that definitely is that water.
I'm Ron DeSantis.
Who cares?
But I'm being Ron DeSantis.
I'm not young enough.
Hi, how are you?
Did
you guys know what I'm talking about?
It's Thai food.
Wait, Ron.
It's not Thai food.
He like picked his nose. It's on camera, and then he's at there's trying to gain money and talk to. It's like an event for him.
Yeah.
And picks his nose, and this guy sitting down, and he goes, "Hey, lift this," and then yeah,
what a guy.
He's so awkward. Yes. There's a really good t-shirt from the Tony Michaels podcast they showed Mac today.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Ron DeSantis, fuck off, or fuck off, Ron. It's just perfect. It's got palm trees. It's very Florida. And yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Huh?
Oh,
no.
Tony Michaels podcast.
Pardon me.
Tony Michaels.
The other one.
Yeah. CHA. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one. Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because I've sent it to
Oh,
you before. And then Gabe Sanchez does and this has been, what was that? This is a really funny clip. He makes commercials for, if you're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, you can take Trumpetol. It's filled with ivermectin, and like he names all these things that it's filled with. It's funny. I mean, they're silly, senseless things, but it's creative. And if you're a political junkie, it's kind of funny. What was the other thing that I saw? Oh, Marjorie got kicked off of her committee.
That's funny.
She's not crazy bananas enough in that fruit salad of the Freedom Caucus, because that's how you say it if you're in the Freedom Caucus. Ooh, you know who stretches their words out? Australians. They don't say no. It's one syllable, right? They say now.
No.
2 syllables. Yeah.
Nacho, is that true?
It's
yes or no?
It's a pretty accent though.
Holy shit! I was in the middle of typing something, so I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, it's probably smarter to do that when we're talking. Seriously.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Bye, Bri.
I think
Thanks for coming.
when we started, and good night, Bri.
Took a second.
Yeah, I'm always like lagging a little bit.
Yeah. Every day I'm buffering.
When we started this podcast, we were all doing like our own things. Like Christy was still just like all over
Talking
the
about
place
American history
in
a lot.
the community, and then she had her own show on. Who was hosting?
I had a segment on oh crap, just freaking fully. Hold on, I still
It wasn't
have
just
her.
ours.
No. As soon as I was just about to say it, and then I was like, oh, of course, yeah, my brain says lady. Not lady. That's what I was just reading. No, oh my gosh, I forget. There's so many people in here. Scientist Mel, we need to have her on again. I have some questions.
I know.
Yeah, some really, really good questions.
RFK.
Yeah, no, not really. I still have this person's messages in there. Yeah, whatever. And then, no, she's an artist too. Why can't I just cannot?
I know. I can
I
see some of
remember
her in my head.
It's driving me insane.
You'll get there.
And name changes, often. So
Yeah, and like
not
I was
hers,
still
other
doing
people.
more Gray Skeptic and Atheist flashback stuff on my channel at the time.
Yeah, I do.
And Nacho was still doing like his Nacho Witness channel, like a lot more. So like we were all doing more interactive things in the community besides just Leah. So I was gonna ask, what are we doing now currently? Like with anything connected
Your mom.
to that? Hey, God damn it! I knew I couldn't leave you too alone.
You know it.
So yeah, like are we just further away from what we were doing, or have we changed interests? Like something like what are we doing in the sense of like interacting with the community at all, or anything connected to it? And
are you guys still? Do you guys still operate the Facebook channel for Leah?
Yeah, I'm on there. I mean, I don't spend time on Facebook in particular, but I post things on the Leah, and
I review it.
I reply on the Leah. I post a few times a week, and check the replies a few times a week. Yeah.
I reckon I have a suggestion. So we all know that we have our Patreon, not Patreon, freaking Discord channel. I want to start pushing that more. Like I reckon we can use that as a platform for when we're not actually doing our show, that we can keep in regular communications, have discussions, things like that in our Discord.
Wonder Lady, Faye. Sorry, and that's
for
who it was.
the last year or so, I've been using Discord a hell of a lot more. I've learnt a lot about it and how it works and what you can do with it. And I think that we are vastly underutilizing our channel at the moment in what we can do to help grow our community.
I just told Christy like 2 hours ago, like, you need to teach me how to use Discord.
Like, ooh, we're gonna both be lost. I know how to get. I have to ask Smitty quite often before we go live. I just shared it. Can you please share it in Discord? Because I'll have it ready to share, and then I can't get into that. I go onto Discord and I'm like, I can't share it here. Like, that's not where I'm trying to go. But then I learned I can, just copy the link. And a lot of times I'll have messages from the Leah Discord, and I'll just click on that, and then I'm in Leah. That's not always an option.
So you said, please reiterate, you're doing what more in Discord right now?
Spending a lot more time. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been. So originally Discord was sort of created to be a helpful tool for gaming communities. And so it has a lot of tools that you can implement into games and stuff, but it also, it's an open-ended platform that you can use for a lot of things. I've been using a lot within a gaming community that I'm part of, and I'm like staff and admin and stuff for them on Discord, so I've learned a lot about how to use it, what you can do with it. And I just think that it's such a underutilized platform that for us, like, we're not using our channel in an optimal way, where it's one of those things that you can just throw it up on your phone when you've got a couple minutes free, scroll through and see who's online and have a chat with them, or if you've got a question about some news article that you're reading, you can scroll in and be like, oh hey, anyone got thoughts on this, or do you think this is a
Yeah.
reliable source? Or
That's actually
you
what I
know,
use it for.
we can really utilize that. We can have just a more continuous interaction with everyone, rather than it being just this every 2 weeks thing.
Yes, I do like Discord. I like Chesh. I'm like, oh my gosh, look what Ron DeSantis, or this story, this, watch this. And Ron DeSantis mostly, she wants to actually have me on to talk about, Ron D or Duh. I like Duh Santis. He's just so gross. I don't want to talk about him. But
Yeah, so we need to do more Discord
so
stuff.
Discord. Download Discord. You're gonna have a contact high.
I know.
And the fans blowing it right
Even
on.
if you two wanted to, after the show, we can run through really quick. If you have any questions about how to use it or just basic things, I can give you a hand.
Yeah, I'll go and download.
But we'll do that after the show.
Yeah.
Puppy. That's a cat.
I got 16. Christy, what are you doing more now? Like, I think you're the one who's like the most consistent. You're still like listening to news like 29 hours a day.
Policy junkie, a politics junkie, yeah.
The thing you're doing most different is like, I mean, you were always like doing the stuff that you're more on camera than you were like, back before we started.
Yeah, I wasn't on camera, so.
You're just fucking killing it all the time. And your hair.
Yes,
which
you
I get
guys.
to see in person
June
now.
12th that just happened was 4 years. I had my silverversary, and I just had a trim, and it is silver all the way to the bottom. I cut off the last little bit of under here. It's
Silver vixen.
super silver. If I like flip it like that. Yeah. Except for the spot. It still said no.
Yeah.
I don't wanna.
That's
So
fine. Reverse rogue.
yeah. Aw.
Reverse rogue.
Whoa. Hello.
Alright, I am able.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. Go from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. That's a song from the 60s, and it's hilarious. Have you guys seen the movie Mermaids with Cher? Well,
No.
it's on the soundtrack to that movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No.
The 60s were a very weird time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I can.
Me either, but I feel like I was. Or I should have been.
Ah,
Yes.
no.
Like, I would have been the fungi. The mushrooms everyone was eating. That was so lame.
No,
They
that was
couldn't even
good.
do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yes.
That was pretty stupid. You're my bestest man. Yeah.
Even more than Mr. Bean. I said it.
Yeah.
He's like that.
He's
He's not
sleeping.
listening.
He won't let
It's
Stacey
safe to
take
say
him
it.
out, and I'm sure he's got to go so bad. Let's see, at 9:30 it had been 5 hours since he went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure he's got to go. That's why he said I'll just go to sleep.
That's 3 hours.
Yeah, at 9:30 it had been 5 hours.
It had been. I thought
Yeah.
you said 6:30.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I could be wrong. I can't math. Let me see. Nope, that's right. How
I
many
just
fingers?
heard it wrong.
Yeah.
I
Well,
wanted
if you
to
can't
throw
hear
out-
me, maybe you have an ear infection. Maybe you should finger it out. That's
How long do I finger it? Until it comes out?
Yeah. You better
Um,
put in the work, boy. Back.
I'm also like,
Mm.
I wanted to let everyone else know like what I've been working on like the last few years because I know I've mentioned it like a little bit. And like some of my views have grown. I don't want to say changed because they're still mostly the same from when we started this channel. And I think I've just like learned a lot of layers on top, like just like
He's
listening to
becoming
Christy.
an onion.
I'm an onion. How about a cake?
Yeah, a layered cake.
Like cake.
Ooh, that's a good movie. Layered cake.
But one of my favorite things I'm finding over the last couple of years now is that fan.
Blowing like one or two hairs. Like
like channels like Josh and Megan's channel, Digital Hammer.
Oh, yes.
They're fantastic. So I guess because I didn't finish my thought before I built upon it. One of the things I think that I've grown in as a member of this little YouTube community is that I don't any longer like have the view that like religion serves like no purpose for humanity, because I feel like I'm learning a lot about humanity by looking into ancient people's religions. I think that's a super really like duper cool lens of how to look at people, because a belief is a part of a person's like psyche. And I think that's important, and sometimes not just a person's psyche but a society's.
Right.
And you can see a lot of that in America, sadly, sometimes. Different parts of America, different parts of just communities. Like if you know which church is like the most dominant in the area, you might kind of know how those people like you can read the room all of a sudden. And that's not just true for everyone, but it does give you an idea of who holds the mic and what that Overton window is. For
what the culture is like in that
area. And that goes through time, and I love that. I think it's really, really cool. And I didn't quite understand that. I think when we started this channel, I think maybe I was starting to get that when we started. But that said, and speaking of the word started over and over, since we started, gotcha. Can you see when our first video was? Is that easy to look up?
The origins of religion, finding the
Dragon Forward is one of my favorite channels.
Yeah, same. Same.
Just looking it up.
5 years.
Yes, same.
Big Oil, 4 years ago. Let's see if I have a date on it.
It'd be like November.
They don't give me an actual.
The creation
No, it's not good. It just says 4 years ago.
Okay, yeah. So going on 5 years, I think, by the end of this one. And that's awesome. So I really love like being involved in like the politics and the economics that we cover all the time. But I am always still researching things on myth and religion, and I really enjoy it. I've really considered, and I don't have time right now. But I would really like to get in maybe to academia sometime and like do something like what Josh does, or like have you found what's his name, Dan McClellan yet?
I mean, maybe I would have to look at.
Who knows Dan McClellan? Down below, because I'm sure.
I got a date for you. We are the channel started. So I don't know if it's the first video, but the channel itself started on January 1st of 2019.
Oh wow. We had no idea that the Rona was coming.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, Orange guy is crazy. What is going on? Shit, Rona.
I think we...
Actually, that's an interesting one. How far into it, before we touched on coronavirus?
Well, that was a whole year.
Yeah, so I'm looking...
we said something about it.
Well, no, because he said January of 19.
Oh, yeah, we at least had, November 19, there were cases that nobody knew. They hadn't, nothing. Now looking back, with hindsight, doctors are thinking, scientists, virologists, they're all saying those probably were. There were these severe flu cases. People couldn't breathe and they were dying in hospitals. And it wasn't everywhere. It was like one or two over here. So that was November, but it was like January, February, and March when I think it was like March when Trump said we have 2 weeks it'll be gone and then summer's coming and
Right.
it'll just.
But we had mentioned it in December, I'm pretty sure, because credit where credit's due, Kim Iverson was already talking about it at that point in time. So it was a little bit on my radar, and I brought it up during the show. And then we kept mentioning it a little bit more and more through January, February, March. Like we were really talking about it then. But yeah, before that.
Yeah.
I have
I might need to ask you guys a question, but in private.
December 15th was episode 2.
Oh wow.
2018. It was on my team.
2018.
Yeah.
What?
So we started this show on Great Skeptic. We did the first couple episodes.
And
So I just found number 2 here. Is
Yeah, I know it's confusing. You gotta do it. You gotta get and let it focus and takes a minute. There it goes.
lower. There, yeah. 15, 2018.
Right there.
So yeah, we started.
October.
How about that?
So, anyways,
Wow.
we were babies
We're
then.
just little jitterbugs.
Look at us being babies.
Oh my god.
All right.
Sorry, I couldn't
That said
sit.
though.
Oh my
Um,
spine says, if you keep fucking around, you're gonna find out. And I don't wanna. So
yes, we can wrap up. But
I'm gonna wrap it
wrap it
up.
up.
Wrap it up.
You just dance so much better than I do. Yeah. Do we have anything else we need to address
that's
before
how
we
I know.
wrap it
I
up
don't know
for
how to
tonight?
do
Any questions we missed? Any awesome nacho quotes that we need to hear before we're all done?
Oh shit. Watch out. I'm gonna
All hail the Apex Dryo King. And that won't make any sense to any of you.
You could say anything. It doesn't have to make sense. I would listen and be like, oh, I have such a crush on your voice. It's really bad. I think Mac does. Bean, that's what he wants to be in my lap.
I just don't talk about it a lot.
I mean, me either. Just like every show.
That's not all.
Yeah, whatever.
Every other week.
I mean, everybody talks about. You
Nacho
say Naja, like, oh, that voice. I'm like, yeah, I know. Imagine if he was the weatherman. Come on, talk to you about some storms coming on. I'd be like, whoo!
I'd be wet before those showers.
It's gonna get hot and steamy in here soon.
Yeah. Already is. Tell me more.
I count sheep when I go to sleep, but I do it in Nacho's voice. 1 roo, 2 roo, 3 roo.
Aw.
The sheep are roos.
No, yeah, they're kangaroo sheep.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh,
just,
of course.
they all have perms.
Yeah.
What you're saying. There's 1984 sheep with perms.
Yeah.
Big bang. Okay, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
You got it.
They have roller
You
skates
picked it
on,
up.
leg
What?
warmers,
Oh, no.
visor.
They have a funny hat on that Steve Irwin would be proud of.
I mean, it's the 80s.
Rest in
There's
peace.
some cool hats in the 80s. Think about Run DMC. Yeah, LL Cool J.
Purple.
I have a
Rose.
white Kanga hat, so like, I shouldn't wear it ever again.
Purple Ramzone said that they started their channel on May 1st, 2017.
Aw, we're all like grown up.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us this lovely Friday.
Yeah,
Night. Now Saturday. I did it.
yeah, pretty awesome. The pictures are amazing. They're so.
I'll
Yeah.
post a couple on the Twitter space.
Yeah, and on the league on Facebook.
Oh yeah, the Facebook page. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's put it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Amazing.
I'll do it sometime this weekend when I'm not being procrastinating.
Yes, wonderful.
But yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Yes,
Thank you
Riley.
for doing this.
Everybody bow down to Riley, by the way, every time she comes. You immediately, get on a knee and say, "Milady."
Maybe.
Yeah.
Nacho, would you? Nacho has.
Yeah. 100%.
Someone twisted my arm, I swear.
I love it. Yes, you could charge like $2.95 a minute.
Not just you want to close us out. It'd be honored to listen
Yeah.
to you say.
Yes,
So, it has been absolutely lovely. I've actually had a lot of fun being able to join you for once. Not being able to, I can always able to, but just joining you.
What do you want?
So what's the start of our line?
Stay. for
Humanist.
God. Yes.
Yes.
For godless sake. I was hoping we'd do it together, but I don't think we're that organized.
Yeah, we can. 1, 2, 3. Stay
Stay
humanist.
humanist for godless sake.
He was right. The Lord is always right.
All right. Time for us to bugger off. Much love,
Love
everyone.
you. And love you.
Bye.
Bye.